Shalom, brothers and sisters, friends and family. Sanmonani. My name is Mpumelelo. Welcome to this channel. To all subscribers of this channel, Gyantanda, Nina Kupenda, I love you. Without you, this channel would not exist. If you have not subscribed, please consider to do so. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, hit the notification bell, and share it with your friends and family. So what are we talking about today? It is interesting, I got good feedback from our brothers and sisters on the video that I made last week, to a point where I felt I said to one of the brothers or sister, I'm not sure now, let me continue with the inputs that he made, because he said that I should have included chapter 33 of Sefer Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, to give more context. And I'm using his words exactly. His words or her words, I'm not sure. So it's interesting because, and it's a good observation from his part, because chapter 33 of Sefer Devarim, the book of Deuteronomy, talks about Moses' final blessings on Israel. And you will notice some similarities between what Moses said to the children of Israel and what Yaakov said. Some of you may not be aware that when Moses spoke these words, he did not have time to write them down. So chapter 33 chapter 33 and chapter 34. Both of them are written in the third person, which means that Moses was no longer there amongst them. Someone else wrote chapter 33 and chapter 34. It's important to note, because the whole Torah is written by Moses. Some people argue, of course, that the first book, Sefer Breshit, could not have been written by Moses, because the events that occurred in Sefer Breshit or Genesis happened thousands of years before Moses was born. So how could he have written Sefer Breshit? But we can speculate all we want. In chapter 31, we are told that Moses wrote the Torah, the 5 books of the Tanakh. Nevertheless, chapter 33 and chapter 34 clearly are not written by Moses, because chapter 32, verse 48, tells us that immediately after Moses spoke to the children of Israel, the Almighty told him to depart and go to Mount Nebo and view the land that was given, or that was promised to the children of Israel. And afterward, he would die in Mount Nebo. So he did not have time to write chapter 33 and chapter 34. I personally don't know who wrote them. There are speculations that it could have been Yehoshua or Joshua ben Nun. Not Jesus. Yehoshua ben Nun, Joshua. So this is what he had to say to the children of Israel. Now this is the blessing with which Moses, the man of the Almighty, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, now, if you read your translated version, which is in English, it will say the Lord came from Sinai. If you read it in Hebrew, you will find these letters, Yod He Vav He, which in English is translated YHWH, in some versions YHVH, and some people have and these letters, are pronounced differently. And I want to be very careful not to decide. I don't know which right pronunciation it is. So I'm simply going to say Yod He Waw He. Yod He Waw He or Yod He Vav He. When I say that, you must know that I'm saying what you understand as, some people would say Jehovah, some people will say Yahuwah, some people will say Yah. Because I'm not sure which one it is, and I don't want to defile it or profane it, I'll say Yod He Vav He. And he said, Yod He Vav He came from Sinai and dawned on them from Seir. He shone forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints. From his right hand came a fiery law for them. Yes, he loves the people. All his saints are in your hand. They sit down at your feet. Everyone receives your words. Moses commanded a law for us, a heritage of the congregation of Yaakov. From this verse, you can tell that this is in third person. Moses commanded a law for us. It's no longer him speaking. A heritage of the congregation of Yaakov. And again, I must say that I'm going to do what I did last week, but I'm asking you to read Genesis 33 and read out of it, and continue to read 34. I don't like reading the whole chapter or reading. I want us to do this and understand it together. I give context and I read a few verses. And please, let's go ahead and read the rest. Now, after saying that, Moses continues. He begins with the blessings of the children, or on the children of Israel, he says. And before I just continue, please take note that these things that were spoken by Moshe were not only spoken to the children of Israel that time, but they have implications on each and every one of us. When? Today. Because we are the tribes of Israel. Whatever was spoken to the tribes of Israel, they have implications on each and every one of us. So we need to take note of what was said, so that you are not surprised of what is happening in your life. You know, and you have the power to change it. That's important. You have the power to change it. To Reuben, he said, let Reuben live and not die, nor let his men be few. So, in spite of what Reuben did, let him live, let him not die, and let his men not be few. It means his generation, his seeds may not be few. You will remember that before the children of Israel entered or crossed the river Jordan, the tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh asked to remain beyond the rivers of Jordan, where Moses was addressing them. They asked to take that land for themselves. Moses was worried that they would not help their brothers to conquer the land in Canaan, but they made an undertaking that they will go with their brothers, they will leave their children and their livestock and their wives behind, and they will go and fight. And when everyone has been allocated their lands, they will come back and settle beyond the rivers of Jordan. They asked for that because they had a lot of livestock, and the land was had pasture. It was good for their livestock. So they asked to stay there. So, in spite of what Reuben did, it appears that his descendants were not destitute. They were not walking around with torn pants. But they would not excel, as Yaakov said. Now, I was thinking about this and said perhaps I should have elaborated further. I think I said all the negative things about someone who is not excelling. But if you look at the superlatives of performance, you will find that they would have fair, good, and excellent. So, if you are fair in your performance, it is not completely bad. It's not poor. If you are good, again, it's fine. But you will not excel. You will not do excellently. You will not be outstanding. You will be, bobbing between fair and good. So, he will not excel, but he will not necessarily be poor. And it shows by the land that they took, that they had the cattle, a lot of cattle. It means they were doing well. Some other tribes perhaps did exceedingly well, which is the level which Reuben was told he will not reach. Anyways, then he went to Judah. I'm sure people have even forgotten what I was talking about now. I'm talking about the blessings, the final blessings that Moses gave to the children of Israel. So to Reuben he said, let Reuben live and not die, and let his men not be few. And of Yehuda, of Judah, he said, hear Yod-Heh Vav-Heh, the voice of Yehuda, and bring him to his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and may you be a help against his enemies. And I'm not going to go through all of them like I did last week. I intend to go to the three, because on the three tribes, there are certain things that were said which I think you and I should pray. As much as we are implored to pray for ourselves, to pray for Israel, and to pray for Jerusalem, Psalm 122 commands us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. It says, Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim, Yishlayu ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who loves you. So we must continuously pray for our brothers and sisters, for Israel, the nation of Israel, to be restored to the land. We must pray for the peace of Israel, of Jerusalem, that there must be everlasting peace. So, let's continue. What did he say to Levi? He said, let your Tumim and your Urim be with your Holy One. if you don't know what Tumim and Urim is, Tumim and Urim were little stones which were carried by priests on their breasts. So whenever they consulted with the Almighty, whenever they sought direction or counsel, they tossed these stones. And these stones, Tumim means perfections, and Urim means light. So it makes perfect sense that they used these stones to seek clarity, perfection, and light whenever they were seeking direction. So they used these stones. So the tribe of Levi is given blessings here by Moses to continue to do their work as priests, continue to serve the Almighty in the temple. But we know that this has become impossible since we don't have a temple. But this, when we are restored to the land, they will resume their responsibilities of priesthood. What I want you to note here, it is the fact that when you read through chapter 33, all of it, Moses skipped Shimon. He didn't mention Shimon at all. You know, Yaakov said Shimon will be scattered among the tribes of Israel. Shimon and Levi. Moses did not mention him at all. You can go through it from verse 1 to the last. He didn't mention him. This is where we are required to pray. We must pray for our brothers and sisters. We must pray for all of us. We have gone astray. Our forefathers have gone astray. We must pray for restoration. We must pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And these blessings does not mean that we must gloat and say we were mentioned. It means nothing if you do nothing about it. But gloating and bragging means nothing if someone else. I was a soldier in my life, in my past life. You never leave your combatant behind. You fight, you bring them along, and you bring their body. Or when they are injured, you come with them. And so, what has befallen the tribe of Shimon and Reuben requires of us to pray for them, but it requires of them to seize the opportunity and repent, because the Almighty is merciful and He hears our cries, and therefore upon repentance we will be restored. So we must pray constantly without failing for each and every one of us, and pray for the peace of Jerusalem, that there must be everlasting peace. So this was the message of Moses just before he was fortunate. He was told that after you have spoken to the children of Israel, pack your bags, go to Mount Nebo, view the land, and then die. How many of us, a lot of people leave early in the morning when they are going to work and they never come back, and that is sad. But when you know, you prepare yourself. I think nothing strangled him. He didn't fall and hit his head, and nothing bad happened. He just perhaps went to sleep at night, and that was it. And when he went to sleep that night, he knew that he was not going to wake up. I don't know whether I should say what a wonderful thing. Dying is never a wonderful thing. But if you go that way, I think I mean, you didn't go with a bang. You went swiftly, softly, quietly, peacefully. I think it is proper to say what a wonderful thing. That's all I have for you today. Thank you very much. Ngiyabonga. Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim Yishlayu uhavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. Ngiyabonga. Thank you.